One of my first early things, we always had art on the wall, and I decided to have a kids art show. And I'm like, if I'm going to if I'm going to have a kids art show, where do people display kids art? Put on the refrigerator. Mm-hmm. So I went all over town finding refrigerator doors, hanging them up on the walls, and people said, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, I don't know. And I got a lot of refrigerator magnets over at Salvation Army or Goodwill or whatever, and hung it up, and it was like the coolest art show that I remember doing. And it was just that kind of fun stuff. You're like, people, you're putting refrigerator doors on the walls?
So if you're up in Nashville and you see the Village Bar, stop and see if Charlie's there. Tell him who you are, and listen to his wisdom, and listen to his stories, and listen to his hopes and dreams, his downfalls and his glories. Da 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 da.
And we're back.
I didn't know we even started here. No, we're back.
Yeah, everybody.
We were recording all that crap.
Yeah, we're not even gonna. I'm not even gonna shy away from this. Due to High Fashion's request, I have brought you people Bob Bernstein. Everybody, give it up for Bob Bernstein. And Bob has brought his friend Rick Keuler, right?
Yes.
Like Ferris Bueller. We were just joking about that. You can go ahead and get into that.
So when that movie came out, the first time I heard it, it was a radio spot. Do they even do radio spots for movies anymore?
Maybe? I don't know.
But anyway, from the radio, it sounded just like Keuler. So I thought it was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yeah. Which I thought would make me incredibly cool.
Yeah.
It did not.
Well, you're lucky. Well, you're kind of lucky, I guess, in the same way, because that would never end.
Right.
Every day it would be like, oh, Keuler, yeah.
Bueller.
So, Rick, how do you know Bob then?
Bob and I met about 10 years ago. Yeah. And we partner up on kind of the Gamepoint piece of Bongo.
The board game part, yeah.
Okay. Oh,
It was almost like the Reese's thing, the chocolate and the peanut butter to get together. I got the cafe. He knew the board games, and
yeah, because that's a big part of Bongo East, right?
Yeah.
Huge part.
It is Bongo, yeah.
Yeah. So how did you guys? Where did you first meet? Like how that happen?
Rick has run a board game convention, a gathering for 20-something years.
Yeah, we just had our 30th event.
30th
year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With the hotel, they rent rooms and the conference center, and people play board games all night long. So I heard about this because I wanted to do a board game cafe, and I figured, I'll do some snooping around. And
you had this affinity that has not been quenched, and then all of a sudden,
well,
there was Keuler.
Bueller.
Yeah. So my kids were young. We were playing a lot of board games, and then I heard about board game cafes. I'm like, I want to do that, and I knew very little about board games, and heard about this convention, so I snuck in. Literally, never paid for the ticket.
Good start.
Somebody pointed out Rick and said, "Oh, he's the guy who started it." And I went up to him. I said, "Hey, I'm
robbing you blind."
Yeah, I admit to it, but can I buy you lunch and talk about board games?"
He's like, "Of course, yeah."
So the first thing I said is, "I want to open a board game cafe, and I'd love some help." And he kind of shyly said, "Well, I kind of want to open a board game cafe too." So we thought it'd be this competition thing. In my mind, I was the nice one and said, let's just do it together. But maybe it was him. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And so we worked out a weird partnership where we turned a coffee house that was existing into a cafe. It was supposed to be a board game cafe at night and coffee house during the day. And somehow customers wanted to play all day long. So it just
and we're talking about Bongo East.
Bongo East.
So how long has Bongo East been there?
Well, Bongo East been there since 2000, but the board game part started in
2017.
Wow.
Yeah. So the one day the shelves came in, and then the games.
Literally, yeah.
We forgot to tell the employees. Between him and I, we thought it was a great idea. The employees are like, "What the hell is this?"
Keuler like signaled like 50 board gamers to come in. He's like, "Here we are. We're taking over."
What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, we're already being specific about Bongo East and everything, but for those of you that don't know, can you just give us like overview of the universe of Bongo and like at its biggest and what's going on right now still with
Bob
all
is
the properties?
Bob is one of the OG titans of coffee in Nashville, and everybody.
Yeah,
but you mean that in a good way, right?
Oh, of
yeah.
course.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, some people think old coffee house is old and boring,
I mean, when you put Bongo Java next to Belmont, that was such a cultural movement in the city, and that's why you're sitting here today. Because I mean, that's grown into. I mean, I don't even know how many stores, and then like there's and other things that are offshot from that.
Yeah, I don't either. So
yeah.
Well, I guess my question is moot then.
No, but the real reason I'm here is you asked me to be on this, and I'm like, what is this thing? And I played one of your podcasts.
Yeah.
And it said the first thing I heard was basically, if anybody knows Bob, tell him to be on my podcast.
Yeah. Got some Fido coffee in front of me. I'm wanting Bob to come on.
Well, it was kind of weird. I dropped my kid off, and then I turned it on, and I'm like, God, if he was only here 2 seconds longer.
That was so funny.
So it's your fault.
I think me and Jesse went to go get probably getting coffee at Fido, but
Heard of it.
And
I really appreciate supporting the brand.
I had to.
I should have brought a villager. Is there a villager?
Bob's in a hurry, so I would normally.
What are you gonna make him a shirt?
I would normally go get you one. I'll get you one for later. You can, but you're just fine.
We're gonna stop down real quick.
You're just fine. I want to get as much of your words on a camera as possible. But go ahead. Like, is there how is the company?
Yeah, the origin story is I moved here in 1988 to be a newspaper reporter.
Oh, so like journalism.
Journalism. That's what I was doing, and thought I was going to move on to quote unquote bigger, better city and bigger, better paper.
Who are you working for when you got
the
here?
Business Journal?
Okay,
Nashville and Memphis business journals. And coming from the Chicago to the South, my first experience down here, I'm like, ooh, what am I doing? But after about a year, I realized I kind of had it backwards, that there was something about the city that I liked, and there was lots of things about journalism I didn't like.
What did you like about the city?
At first I was like, there's nothing here. There was not an Indian restaurant at the time. There was one sushi place. There wasn't a coffee house. And then after a while, I started to appreciate it. It was like this small town where everywhere I went, I knew people, and it was like, quote unquote, like Mayberry.
What year was that, Bob?
I moved here in '88.
Yeah.
Okay.
My folks moved here in '85, so that people have always been moving to Nashville.
Yeah, but it's like, as I say, is like people back in when I moved here, maybe your parents, it's like we were kind of like forced to as my first job offer.
Yeah, well, they moved here for economic reasons, like a job. Yeah,
and then now people are moving here on purpose, which is kind of still surprises me. But I first would say I'm moving to Nashville. People are like, sorry about that. And now people are like, oh, you live in Nashville. That's the most exciting place. I can't wait to go. And you're like,
dude, it blows my mind. I'm from here. I mean, I grew up with this. It's like the highlight was watching your hippie friends get in a tree in Centennial Park.
Not getting
Still
out, just
highlight.
getting in.
Yeah. Dude, now you can't go in Centennial Park after dark sometimes. It's like that's not even a thing anymore.
No, it's the town has totally changed. I mean, there was the quote unquote good and bad side of Belmont Boulevard or 12 South. I mean, nobody wanted to go over there, and I live almost right next to Sevier Park right now, and that was like a dangerous park when I first moved here.
Oh, like the whole 12 South area, right?
Wow.
I mean, like,
that
was talking about. It's at Sevier Park, yeah.
So I moved here in 2004, and I still feel like it was kind of what you were describing at first. Like wherever we went, we knew somebody, and like you could get across town in 10 minutes, and it's still not quite the Nashville you're describing, but still pretty close to it. And then like between 2004 and now, I feel like the exponential curve just like went off the rails.
It's been crazy. It's like, to me, if you haven't been here for 20 years, you can't complain about anything, and you can't stress about it. Something.
Well, I won't complain because I've been here for 15 years, but I'm getting close to that 20 year. And just speaking on Bongo on Belmont there, that was my introduction into like true Nashville. The deck was still wood. The frames of the frames of bikes were like 3 tall that were riding down the street, and like then there was cats, and there was like old retired guys that sat there all day long smoking their tobacco pipes. And one of my biggest investments as a freshman was like going down to Uptown Smoke Shop and getting a tobacco pipe and trying to figure that out so I could hang out with the people on the deck. And I was paying $5 for a Bongo Basic, and the hash browns were like those super peppered pucks, and I would just put 2 over medium eggs over the top of it and an English muffin and study.
He's losing. He's in a trance.
I know.
He's back in the mid 2000s.
Yeah. So that was like, my introduction to that old Nashville that we're talking about.
That was what year?
2011.
Yeah, and by that time we were, we had opened in '93, so
Yeah.
we were, 18 years old by then.
Right.
So Bongo's gone through so many changes. When it first opened, Belmont University, that was like the back of Belmont University, so students didn't come. It was really a 30 and older crowd, neighborhood crowd, and it was just this whole different thing.
Getting this, and I've noticed this from running a bar, there's like a finesse to getting students to start noticing you in a way.
Yeah, we had two really kind of progressive young women students there. They would come to Bongo almost daily and say, "Oh my God, thank you for being here," because they just didn't fit on the Belmont campus back then was very conservative, and these two kids just didn't fit into Belmont crowd, but they fit into Bongo.
Yeah.
But then Bongo went through a high school period where high school kids discovered it. Like, we were open till almost midnight every night, just ran around the place. And then it became a college hangout, which is kind of mostly what it is today, as Belmont built onto Belmont Boulevard.
So in '93, when what started the spark of because you said there were no coffee shops.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what it was. Is I finally realized after a year and a half, 2 years here, that I really need to get back to what I wanted to do. I'm not a good employee.
So you always knew you wanted.
I always knew I wanted to do something myself. I just didn't know what it was.
You said you were on the Business Journal, so you'd always been into business.
No, I was in politics. So I was doing political and business writing, but I had done political organizing before I went to journalism school. Yeah, but there's no coffee house, and that's where I used to hang out and think I was cool back in the day.
So you're kind of
high school, college.
Me just
hang out
spitting
in
every
houses.
10 seconds trying to smoke a tobacco pipe. Still don't know how to do it.
Well, to me, it was the same, but it was coffee. Like, I didn't drink coffee. I'd sip a cappuccino for 3 hours, thinking I had to order something, and that was cool. Right?
Yeah. Ordering a cortado and just getting like 2 ounces, and people are like, "Is this it?
Yeah.
Is this all I get?" There's no whipped cream.
So Rick, how'd you get into board games?
I'm a reformed bankruptcy attorney.
Oh wow! Wow, that's a clip.
These are big changes going on this side of the table.
There is life after your first job.
Yeah.
That's the lesson.
But during that time, I was doing nothing but coming home from the office, eating, going to sleep, going back to the office. My wife was exasperated and said, "You need a hobby." And I was reading a magazine and I saw these articles about these kind of weird German board games.
Mm-hmm. And were you doing that in Nashville?
I was in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Go Birds. All right. Ordered a couple of them, started inviting friends over. And then that exploded. And by the time we left Philadelphia, we would have like 40 or 50 people over for a game night that would be all over
So
the
yeah, you
apartment.
really were jonesing for a board game cafe.
I mean, it's a fun way to interact with people. It wasn't as much of a problem then in the late 1990s, but like now it's a great way to get people off their phone and like looking at each other.
Yeah, there's definitely phones, video games. I mean, we used to have a foosball table here. If you guys, I'm assuming you guys remember that.
I remember that.
What is that? The 70s? Did you have a foosball table?
There's two things that were really popular back when my dad was here, and that was the foosball table was. That didn't stop becoming unpopular until I think after the millennial generation. I don't think they became more video game kids. And I'm sure you've been dealing with that sentiment too a lot.
Yeah, we get a lot of calls to see if we have an Xbox for sure.
And the other thing, which is ironically the beginning of like the bar video game popularity was the Golden Tee machines.
Right. Mm-hmm.
My dad said once he opened the door, there'd be people like zombies like at the door waiting for him to open to play the Golden Tee machine.
Oh my goodness!
You had one in here?
Back when they were smaller.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because it could fit right there where underneath that back TV.
Wow.
And it was, my dad would be late getting home because he'd be sitting there playing it while he closed. He loved it as much, and it's kind of like you're talking about. Like you knew that you wanted the coffee shop. It's almost like he looked at it when someone was trying to sell it to him. He was like, "I want that." Of course, other people are going to want that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to go to the driving range. I can just do it at work.
So what was the final straw with the business journal then when you were like, I'm changing, I'm becoming my own boss?
About to turn 30.
Okay.
I needed that. I needed a reason. And I was looking at, my birthday's early January, and I was looking at the calendar, and I'm like, I can't turn 30 at this job. I'm bored. I'm not doing a great job, and I'm bored.
Yeah.
And so I gave notice. He talked me into staying the rest of the calendar year, and I got a nice severance
Nice.
thing,
Wow.
which meant I could sleep on the couch for 3 months and not have to even worry about a business plan or anything.
Perfect.
So he didn't want to lose you.
Hot start, as we like to call it in business.
All great things start from the couch.
I think I did a decent job. But then, yeah, I could have stayed around if I wanted to, but I was ready to go.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you want to get into the I guess the gentrification stuff of like what Nashville is
Well,
going
hold on
through?
a minute. We're in the
Oh,
early
not yet?
90s here. We're in the early 90s here,
Good.
right? So we're not.
I told Jesse
Wait
to
a
tell me
minute,
where
We're
to go.
not there yet. It's jumping to yesterday. But
Wait, if we're going to the 90s, I got to grow my hair and put my earring
there you
back
go. Well,
in.
I was gonna
Oh,
say.
you had an earring?
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, was there ever a point where you were like, "Come by and try our Java"? Did you call it Java at any point?
Well, it was called Bongo Java.
That's
yeah,
right.
So, yeah.
So, what is the difference between Java and coffee, and what was like the, I don't know, the cultural? Why were we calling it Java? That's my question.
Well, Java, I mean, it kind of means coffee. It's synonymous. There's a place in Indonesia, Java, and that's
Okay.
a lot of coffee got exported through there. They have coffee there. So I don't really know the history of why Java became synonymous with coffee, but
Yeah.
now my employees tell me it's not cool to use the word Java. So, but the name of the place has been Bongo Java for 30-something years.
But I know that, like, this conversation has, it's definitely going to be steeped in nostalgia and looking backwards and everything like that. And I encourage everyone to just fall into it, whether you like to or not. But like on the internet
Stare into
right
the
now,
Fido cup.
That's right. on the internet right now, people will do like these, pretend you're in a coffee shop in the 90s. And it's like the multicultural, like Starbucks is still putting out CDs with world music on it and stuff like that. So what was that coffee? Do you feel responsible for like building a coffee shop culture here in Nashville?
I mean, I was young and stupid and didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And that helped.
Did you have do you have a guru or like someone that kind of pointed you in a direction?
No, I used to hang out at these places, and I waited tables, bartended, valet parked.
So you were already in the
everything in the
industry,
restaurant
yeah.
industry you could think of that told me I should never be in the restaurant industry. I did all that.
And you're like, maybe if I own it, it'll be different.
Yeah.
Well, I tell people that too. They're like, man, Andrew, running a bar must be so cool. I was like, well, actually, owning a bar is kind of the tits because, like, I don't know, I mean, my boss is my mother, so at the end of the day, like, I can I've got some leverage,
But in a way, aren't they all?
Yeah.
I'm not going to touch
Like,
that.
Andrew, she'll come up to me and she'll be like, Andrew, this corner over here is dusty, and I'm just like, just ignore, just like, hey, so what about this event we have going on?
And I think that's what drove me to want to be the guy, because I didn't like all that stuff, and I just opened the place and just it was one of the first times in my life I just said, okay, I can do whatever I want, and I just let myself do what I want. I didn't think about it. I just did it.
Yeah.
And we were young and stupid. We just opened the doors and people came and
Do you remember?
had fun.
Can you recall any of these beginning doing whatever you want? Like the anecdotal kind of stuff.
Yeah, they'll pop in my head. But one of my first early things, we always had art on the wall, and I decided to have a kids art show. And I'm like, if I'm going to if I'm going to have a kids art show, where do people display kids art? Put on the refrigerator. Mm-hmm. So I went all over town finding refrigerator doors, hanging them up on the walls, and people said, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, I don't know. And I got a lot of refrigerator magnets over at Salvation Army or Goodwill or whatever, and hung it up, and it was like the coolest art show that I remember doing. And it was just that kind of fun stuff. You're like, you're putting refrigerator doors on the wall?
That's so cool. Yeah. Well, it's like, it's the parody of it all, and the, I was telling a customer yesterday that was, or it was a tourist. They just come in for the first time, and they're like, "Oh, it's such a nifty spot." And he goes, "What IPA do you have?" And
A local IPA.
Yes, what IPA do you
Not
have?
Lagunitas.
And I was like, "Do you want?" I've got a West Coast, and I have a juicy haze one that's on tap. And I'm like, "Well, I've got it's Voodoo Ranger." And so I give him the Voodoo Ranger. He wants the juicy one. And I have these reps. Reps will tell you a lot of fun. As you know this, they've got their things, their little bullet points to tell you to try to convince you to change the beer to something else that they sell. And they're like, and my buddy's like, he's my rep, this other rep named Danny. He's also a buddy of mine. He's been my rep for a long time. And he's like, dude, that's grocery store beer. and the funny thing is, I have a response for when they tell me that is like, well, my dad told me that the bar needs to feel like your living room, so they bought it's going to taste like something they bought at the grocery store and brought to their living room. So, on guard.
Yeah, that's a pretty good defense. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's
good.
And I didn't, it never dawned on me, but those things kind of naturally happen. Like, I mean, like, with a coffee
With the
shop.
refrigerator doors, yeah.
Well, and unlike this, with the coffee shop, you bringing the kids in, getting the families in is just like instinctive.
It's fun. Yeah. And it just, that's when I enjoyed the business the best. And that's when, to me, it was most fun, is we can do those kind of things. I mean, we did, you asked the question that are starting to pop in my head. We used to go to a lot of Chinese restaurants as a kid. We still do, but dim sum. So I had a kind of creative chef, cook, whatever on staff, and every day she would make something different. I'm like, you know what? Let's put it on a dim sum cart, and we'll just wheel it through the restaurant, and we'll have Bongo dim sum. And I don't think these things through. I just have an idea. And it came time for the first one, and we're like, well, who's going to push the cart? And I had a staffer who was a former actress on TV, and she goes, I'll do it. She goes, I'll play stupid waitress, and she did it. And then she goes, how do I charge people? We didn't have those fancy handheld things. We didn't have anything. I'm like, I don't know.
You put like a gratuity bucket on it.
Yeah, it was just like, and then like the stuff sold so fast. I'm like, what do we put on the cart? And so I started grabbing the Pop-Tarts, the muffin, anything to throw on the cart. Anything on the cart, people bought. I think maybe it's, I just thought about it. It's like an early food truck.
They call those impulse buys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you put it right in front of them. It's like like you're going in the grocery store checkout.
Yeah. So that's when I had the most fun with it. I had one store, just was there all the time, and talked to people, and
well, people, actually, because you can't. I mean, because people be like, I tell people the only thing I've seen that's like close to another village or like a franchise village would be something like Jack Brown's. You been to Jack Brown's?
I've been in there, yeah.
And so, like kind of the cool thing about, I mean, you really can't replicate this. And, and I'm sure at the time, Bongo was very much like that. And so, and still is. And so but it's like, but as you know, because I haven't done this, so that's what I'm kind of interested in getting into is like the idea of expansion.
Yeah, I was going to say, you mentioned that one store. When did the growth conversation start happening, and were you feeling pressured by it, or?
Well, I guess it came just out of the blue, really. When I first opened, I wanted to be right here in Hillsborough Village, and it was scouting some spaces, and nothing was working out. So
and why was that? Just because of the action?
Back in 93, Hillsborough Village was the only sort of maybe kind of cool place in Nashville.
Yeah, my dad got here in '91, and that's
why.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I mean, he bought the bar in '91, and by '93, it was '93. That's when they were thinking about tearing this block down, wasn't it?
Probably. I mean, don't they think about that every week?
Day. Yeah,
because that's why they.
Not a moment goes by.
Well, that year was always important to me because that's when they historically overlaid the area, the block.
That may be. I don't remember that.
But that was when you started your coffee shop.
So I ended up over on Belmont Boulevard thinking, okay, it's my second or third choice, but it worked out perfectly because of the university. And then somebody told me that, I don't know if you remember Patsy and Faye's Heirloom.
Oh, yeah, they used to come in, but I never met them. I hear stories.
Oh, yeah. I've heard a lot of stories. But somebody told me they wanted to be bought out, so we were negotiating their lease, and it was going to be called Bongo 2, the number 2 Go, because it was just going to be a to-go place.
Oh, okay.
Roasting in the back.
So kind of what Fetch was originally, right? Yeah.
And we were going to roast coffee in the back and do this, and then literally while we're negotiating that, the pet shop, which is the majority of Fido, in the middle of the night just left. Oh. Nobody knew what they were happening, this and that, and the landlord called me and said...
With or without the animals?
With most of them.
Not a parakeet.
So you find out... So somebody knows that this wasn't really a pet shop, right?
Yeah. So instead of negotiating...
Yeah.
So instead of 1,200 square feet, we're negotiating for, I think, 3,600 square feet.
Oh, wow.
Overnight, it became, so we roasted coffee. It used to be called Bongo Java Roasting Company and Fido.
Nice. Oh, wow.
And then the roasting proved impossible in the village.
How come?
Couldn't get trucks in and out and deliveries.
And that has a lot to do with the hospital, right?
It was partly that, but, as the village grew with the cities, like, where are you going to park a big semi trailer and in Hillsborough Village to unload a truck full of coffee. And why would you pay that kind of rent to store coffee? And lots of reasons.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So you learned these questions as you went along.
I didn't know any of these things.
Yeah.
I didn't know what a P&L or a balance sheet was.
So what happened to the roast? So what happened with the roasting after that?
Well, roasting eventually went to East.
Okay.
And then again, same thing happened. There was no cafe business for a while. Then the cafe started, as East started growing, the cafe pushed the roasting company back out. And eventually East became a cafe. That was only during, so this is the transition back to Rick. That was only busy during the day. There wasn't a night business. And then when I was kind of figuring out how to, instead of bringing in music acts or something like a lot of Nashville does, I came up with this idea to do board games, and Rick kind of made it work.
Well, you had that. Oh, actually, you before we get back, so let's go straight to that. So, like, go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, I mean, it was really fun to watch that develop, because when we opened, nobody was used to the building being open at night, and so you'd have people wandering in, like, what's going on, like. When Bob says we put the games on the shelf and open the door, that's literally what we did.
Yeah.
That's all I've done in my life. People ask, like, what's your marketing strategy? I'm like,
if you buy them, they will come.
Yeah.
He learned that from the pet shop.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was real quiet in the beginning, and as people, like, stumbled in and discovered what we were doing. But, like, the fun thing was, like, then pretty quickly it became a place like, hey, we can do this at night. Like, we can... When we stumble out of Three Crow, we can go in there and and keep it going.
Stumble out of Three Crow, jeez.
That sounds like a novel or a song.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Stumbling out of Three Crow.
It's the beginning of a
Honestly,
song.
Todd Snyder probably wrote that at one point.
He probably did. Yeah.
You speak Todd Snyder's name.
Yeah, we speak his name.
And so, I mean, pretty quickly it became like that kind of spot, right? And like when pre-COVID, when like the pharmacy had a 2-hour wait, people would come over and play games for 2 hours while they waited for their table at the pharmacy. So
That is a great, because I remember when we, I think we were open, God, barely. I don't even remember exactly what kind of hours we were pulling, but me and the staff would we'd go 2 at a time, and we would open for to-go food in the beginning. And me and my bartender, or coworker Scott, Scott's not here anymore, but he worked with me for 8 years. And during that time, me and him would just play chess at the bar while we waited for people to come and get a sandwich. And, it would probably be like, someone come up there and be like, all right, your turn to make the sandwich, I'm
going to study this board while you're gone.
Well, that sounds like my original business plan was secretly I thought I'd be waiting at the counter to make coffee at the early days, and I get to write my great American novel, which I wanted to write. And fortunately or unfortunately, business was too good, and I just never got to do that.
Oh man,
yeah.
Oh, we're gonna
Still
have to,
time.
Yeah, we got to pressure him into it.
Yeah,
like,
well,
every time
we'll
I'm gonna start sending you emails that just hey, so what's the title?
But it was fun to like watch a space that people didn't really think of as being somewhere they could go at night, and then really like becoming a go-to for a lot of the community.
That's an amazing thing, because it's like the cultural because people they really appreciate it. You're giving them something.
We get at least I hear that. I assume you do as well, but we get a lot of like, hey, thanks for being open. This is great for my kids after school. This is great for us when we want to do something. This is a great first date. Oh, you should tell.
My first date story?
Yes.
I'll go.
That's classic.
So early on, I love hanging out at the board game place too, but early on, this young guy and woman were sitting there trying to learn a game, and I went over there and I quickly realized it was their first date. So I got them a game they can learn quickly, and they play, and just that. And then a couple weeks later, I was there again, and he's there again. I said, "Oh, the date went well," and he just looks at me like, "Oh my God, panic!" And I realized it was another first date with somebody else. I guess that other first date didn't work out.
First date's going well. It's going well.
So this was his thing. He's taking first dates to play games to see how it works out.
Not bad. Great way to get to know somebody, like you said there. So
yeah, it's that or Ethiopian food when you eat with your hand. Like, can I deal with this person?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have a guilty pleasure when I see the first dates come in, and I'll go up to him like, "Do you want a picture for the wall?" I'm a bit it's a bit facetious, because so they go to the story first, and then I print them out later, and then so they can tag themselves and get the photo. And the first dates are always funny, because like it's kind of a gotcha moment. It's like, because if one of them says no, the other one's like, I guess this wasn't going as well as I thought. So the pro move is you just do it.
Well, I'll put a little bow on that. I think I told you this before, but I actually officiated a wedding of two people who sort of connected here for the first time.
We're going to have to bring them on. We're gonna have to do one.
We'll
that would be it, yeah.
We've had some of that at Gamepoint, too.
And in
We've
fact,
had people that met there that have gotten married.
Yeah.
We had a wedding at Bongo Java.
When?
This was back in the
gosh.
crazy times.
Yeah.
This woman who had, they were young and they didn't have any money, and they said, "Can we have a wedding here?" And I'm like, I was young and stupid. I'm like, I can't close. I need the money.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, you don't need to close. Just push the tables aside, and whoever shows up can be part of it."
That's great.
Because they had met there, they got married there, and they tell me that their first kid was conceived in the back bathroom, but I don't know if that's.
There you go.
Let's go to the tape.
Yeah, you said I could say anything I want.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
I'm totally about it.
Yeah.
I remember one time walking in the bar, and then like one, and again, obviously can't use names, and then like somebody looks at me and goes, "Andrew, they pointed like they fucked in the bathroom," and I was just like, "Oh, okay. Oh, let me address this later when it's here. I'll have phone numbers. I'll be calling."
Yes.
Ironically, the groom of that wedding worked at Fido for quite a few years, actually, as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd ask for the name, but then I'd be embarrassed if I don't know the name.
Yeah, it's okay.
So don't say.
We'll
Tell me off.
I will.
Okay, right.
We'll go off the air for that one. But yeah, so you're getting it going. The growth is coming. You're roasting here. You're roasting there. You're roasting everywhere. You're wearing
Everywhere.
many hats.
Yes.
Do you think that the most fulfillment and sort of joy of it all was just growing the brand, growing the community, having employees, or was it like the technical aspects of roasting a bean? Like what was given it to you?
Don't ask me to roast a bean.
Okay.
Don't even ask me to make you a latte or anything.
Okay.
Can we're gonna have like a segment that we go make Bob make his coffee and put in. We'll drop in that clip.
There goes 90% of my business. No, that to me the most fun I have is the creation of getting it started and building. I think partly that's why I think I opened so many places because
That's the thing you like.
Yeah, like years later, you do the old self-therapy, and I realized I was always a 2-year guy. I went to 3 different colleges. I lived in different cities for 2 years, dated mostly for 2 years, maybe 2 years. And then I realized when I started my business, I was opening a store every 2 years.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't doing it consciously, but it was just opportunities were coming up, and that's what I was doing. I was young and single. And
so what was right after Fido?
East,
and then what was after East?
Well, actually, Greens over on Vanderbilt's campus was involved in that too.
I don't think I've ever been, but yeah. So
and then East,
and
then
it just kept popping up.
And then
after
moving
that.
the roasting company a few times, and then a few we have licensed stores in the Omni and the airport. So just
what's the?
Oh, and then we had. God, so it's like we had Box on 10th Avenue and Fenwick's over on
Fenwick's. I haven't. Do you still have that?
No, we sold that one during COVID. My working partner, this is a great story too. He started as a barista way back when. Came here to build his music career. Started as a barista, and eventually him and I partnered on Fenwick's, and he did all the work, and I was kind of the back guy. And then during COVID, he was just burnt out, tired.
He was ready to go.
He was ready to go, and so we sold it.
Yeah, because if you don't have that, that's why my mom kept the bars, because I was like, please, I was like,
if you weren't here, she probably would have gotten.
Yeah, and the thing was that my brother Toby, he's he helps me out, but it wasn't really, he's not like he has fantasies of doing other stuff, and so but when I got it, when I started doing it, when she thought about selling it at one point, and I just told her, I was like, well, I just can't imagine that, and that's what I told her. I was just honest with her, and then COVID happened. We didn't do it, and then COVID happened, and then because she was always scared we'd never get the building, and then COVID happened, and then I got arthritis. I was a musician, and because I was doing both. I'm a workaholic. I don't even know how to relax, and so right when I got arthritis, they offered us the building, and I was like, holy crap! Thank God I didn't let her do it, because I kind of just followed my instinct on that, just from shooting from the hip, and then luckily what she thought wouldn't happen did happen.
Yeah, that's the small business story of the Nashville growth. It's like if you didn't get a hold of the real estate, you're in trouble.
Yes. So
but if you do, that's where the real value is.
So how much were you able? Did you get real estate? Were you able to get real estate under your fingers before the boom? Did you buy any of that stuff?
Yeah. The building on Belmont back in '93, the owner Manuel Zeitlin, the well-known architect in town, he owned it. He was trying to sell it in '93. I talked him into renting me the first floor. He moved upstairs.
Yeah, because upstairs is like a venue, right?
It was for a while.
Yeah, lots of like improv shows and little concerts and stuff that I would attend
played
back
there,
in the day.
I played there once.
Did you? My brother ran that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, really? That's cool.
And at COVID, we closed it down. But then after a few years of Manuel working upstairs, another old story. So you could just walk upstairs and see an architect's office in the old days. And so people kept doing that, like, what's going on? So I put a sign up that said, please don't feed the architects. That was kind of fun. But so a few years later, the noise, the busy, Manuel came back to me, and we became really good friends by then. He said, you should buy this building. I'm like, I can't afford it. He goes, just talk to your banker. And I talked to the banker. The banker says, well, your mortgage payment will actually be less than your rent. I'm like, seriously? I didn't know anything. I was like,
yeah, that's true. Well, I mean,
and then
I bought 2 years ago. And I don't really.
Yeah, it's a little different. So I did. I'm like, I didn't. Banker said the only thing you have to do is commit to being here 20 years. I'm like, that was a problem.
Yeah.
It's a little bigger than 2.
I'm a 2-year guy.
Of a 2-year guy.
I'm a 2-year guy.
Can we multiply that times 10, Bob? Can we?
So I signed the papers, and thank God I did. And then after that experience, Fido I leased, but then East. It's like I'm not doing stuff unless I buy the real estate. And same thing with even Box on 10th and another space. It's like I'll go in here if I can buy into the real estate.
Okay, so
that's the real value of my business.
So that was a part of starting places after a point.
After a certain point. Mm-hmm. So my real value, I mean, it's like business is fine, but it's like the real estate is what got me here, and it gave me the freedom of not having to maximize. People say, "What how many dollars are you making per square foot?" I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah,
because I don't. Luckily, I haven't had to worry about it.
Yeah,
because we got the real estate early.
Yeah, I mean, my mom bought a couple of like rental properties like right when she could because this was already the boom was already going on, but she went ahead and just did it, just because it's like she just knew how important that was going to be going forward.
Yeah, I fell into it. It was lucky, and that's how I'm paying for 2 kids' college now.
Oh yeah, and Rick, let's get into Keuler.
Bueller.
I want to get into what brought you to Nashville.
Even still in 2004, it was opportunities, right? My wife is a surgeon. She matched here for residency.
She matched like she swiped.
Swiped.
Right. Yeah. So matched to Vanderbilt. So here we were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of forced, right? Like that's the weird thing about medicine that people that are outside really don't realize is like your kind of beginning of your career is dictated to you by an algorithm as opposed to getting to choose where you want to go and what you want to do.
Yeah.
How many years into the relationship were you then?
We had been married 5 years at that point. Yeah, 5 years. Yeah.
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. Not 2.
I've been married 21 years now.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I got past this 2 years.
It was buying the property, wasn't it? It was like, okay, I did something for 20 years.
Longer commitments.
I kept in this building for 20 years.
Yeah.
I could commit to a person for 20.
This is a slippery slope of comparison here that we're getting into.
She's going to be looking at you funny around the 30-year mark.
You're going through the growth. Nashville is changing. I'm coming here 15 years ago. And, I always tell people that Nashville and Belmont have been under construction the entire time that I've been here. I went to Belmont. The hill that my parents dropped me off on right across the street from Bongo is no longer even a hill anymore. It is a parking structure and a loading dock.
That hill back in 93, 94, when Belmont Boulevard wasn't busy, anytime there was ice on the things, we would steal lunch trays from Belmont, and that was our sledding hill.
Nice.
Right into Belmont Boulevard.
Yeah.
You could do that back then.
For sure.
You can't do that
now. You're running into many parked cars.
Yes.
But
or moving cars.
Or moving cars as well.
Which is worse.
I mean, yeah. Just depends on how quick you get going there. But, now there's this sort of, I don't know, understanding almost it's come to with places like as recently as 12 South Tap Room announcing, and just sort of the changes in that. And we've been talking real estate. We could talk real estate all day long here in Nashville. I mean, that's really the root of this conversation: property taxes, increasing rents and everything like that. So, as a member of that community, at the level that you are as an owner and as a creator, do you find yourself commiserating with people that have been on the come up with you with relationships that you've had and made over the last 20, 30
3
years?
of those friends I have left?
Okay, let's see.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm kidding.
They're all,
I'm exaggerating.
They're all
but,
moving.
yeah.
2 years. This is a 2-year man.
It's a 2-year.
It's a 2-year town, 2-year. No.
Yeah, I mean, this town isn't what it was, and I'm facing difficult choices with some of the property. It's like people come to you with crazy offers, and I've been doing this for 33 years. I'm tired. I got literally two kids going to college, starting in the fall, and what are you going to do?
Right.
People say, "Oh, keep this forever," this and that. I'm like, "Well, eventually it's going to be sold. So should I profit from it, or should somebody after I'm long gone profit from it?" Yeah. They're terribly difficult questions, and I've held on to a lot of the properties longer than I think most would.
What's the longest one you've had? I guess the
Belmont.
one,
Yeah.
And that's been how many years now?
I opened in '93, bought it somewhere around '96, something like that, '97, and then we bought the property next door too. So yeah, they're all terribly difficult questions.
Yeah.
And property tax is a whole nother thing, and it's what's going on in the city is crazy.
Yeah, they were. Was it Acme or something? That's like. Yeah. Like Acme's going away. Yeah.
Did they announce they're going away? I know they're facing a tough time.
I don't know if that's entirely the whole story.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I don't.
There's always a little bit more to the story. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that one. But this town is going through difficult choices. When I was a reporter covering all these stories back in '88, when the city leaders, Chamber of Commerce and others wanted to grow the city.
Yeah.
And I was in meetings when they actually talked about getting rid of the Music City moniker. They wanted to get rid of that, and they thought it was too hokey and would never attract business.
It's like one of the best things ever.
Exactly.
But
they built this town, to me, with tourism and corporate dollars, but that was supposed to take care of
the people who lived
here. The people who lived here,
Yeah.
and improve the schools, improve the sidewalks, not cover our tax base, so give us relief and all that. But to me, it hasn't worked,
right?
Because all the property taxes that are just driving people like us out of business. Because eventually, you're like, I can't pay that, or it's not worth it. Let somebody else pay it, and I'll just take rent or go retire somewhere.
Yeah, take rent.
I can make more money as a landlord than I could running my business. There's no question in my mind.
Oh yeah. I think that's what a lot of people get to that conclusion after a while. Unless, that's the only thing about it's the situation that I find that my family's in. It's almost like it's a whole bag or nothing, like in a way. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is.
Right. But it's like then you're the guy that's going to sell out to whoever you want to put a corporate name there.
Yeah. So of those people that you're chatting with, the Pat Martins of the world, are those considered homies? Are you guys talking about it? And
I don't.
Is there a
I don't do that hangout thing anymore. It's funny. It's like I got married late in my life. I got married at 44 and had a kid at 43 and had a kid at 44, and then 46. So my business life changed once that kid came around, and thank goodness. I was all about hanging out at the stores, this and that, and then the kids came around, and I focused more on family.
Yeah.
And
that's what it kind of. Because when you got a store, you're just there all the time until that happens.
Yes, most entrepreneurs talk about how their family life suffers because of their business, and to me, it was almost somewhat the opposite. I wanted my business life didn't really suffer, but it was on the back seat because I wanted to raise 2 kids. I didn't know how cool it was until they put that baby in your hands,
and you're like, holy
shit. Cow, yeah. I can't wait to throw a baseball with them, and I can't wait to do this and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But now they're off to college, so.
Now it's the giving tree.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like, again, I'm a 15-year Nashville guy. I don't have the expertise or the feeling that somebody who's been here their whole life, or even for 30 years or whatever, that they have. But do you feel any sort of pressure? Beyond just business acumen of I need to dig my heels in. I need to, make a statement. I need to, like be the guy that doesn't do it, or like, at a certain
So
point.
he's the therapist of this group.
Yeah.
He's the one that asked me to get you to come on. So I said, Jesse, prepare yourself.
Yeah, I mean, where's the couch I can lay down and no, every day I think about what is my quote unquote responsibility, or what do I really want? What is my, I guess it's legacy. It's like what do I want my legacy to be?
Yeah.
Do I want that high rise on my building, or do I want something cool? Or both can be true at the same time. But what is the legacy I want to put a stamp on this?
I think what's really cool about getting to know you in the short period that we've been here is that the legacy that I'm reading into is, I mean, it goes all the way back to the refrigerator doors. Yeah. And so, like, and the kids showing up and being like, it's all about, that's the legacy. You know what I mean? Is like, and you, unlike other entrepreneurs, because I'm here all the time, and I see how that happens, where it's like, you got kids coming, and then that has to, and that's where your heart is they go, and you started just being with your kids and because to me, what I see is people that are have to have a social life and run their businesses, they must have a problem with that. But it's like it's like you go run your business, and then you go do the kid thing. There's no real room for, because you were saying you don't really hang out anymore. And so it's like that legacy is like obviously at the core with children or with kids to me, from just talking to you, and I don't know, like maybe because it's all just buildings at the end of the day here,
It is. I mean, yeah.
I'm going to jump in. I got a question for you.
You jump in. You got a
go
question
for
for
it.
me?
Build based on that line. So I'm kind of the reverse of Bob a little bit. So when my wife matched here and we moved here, I was kind of burnt out from bankruptcy. We also didn't know anybody in Nashville. So I stopped work. So that's when I stopped being a bankruptcy attorney, and I was a stay-at-home dad for a big chunk of time. And so it was kind of the reverse. Now my kids, one's in college, one's about to go to college. But they were older when I started working with Bob. So it was a little kind of the reverse. I'd been there when they were little. Yeah. They didn't really need me as much. I was looking for something to do. But all that is prefaced to say, for them, it's really cool to see Dad doing something in town that people know about. Yeah. Like when their friends say, we're going to Gamepoint to hang out, the kids are like Amelia was, my middle child, Amelia, was coming home on the sports bus and said the kids in front of her were talking about something they wanted to go to the Gamepoint store and pick up, and like she thought that was really cool. So my question is, Alex and Max, like, where do they fall on that? Like, is it still really cool that Dad has?
I think it's both. It's both cool, and but I don't think they get the appreciation your kids may have. They didn't see me building it.
Right. Okay.
They saw me when it was kind of on autopilot, more or less.
Okay.
And so it's interesting. I don't know. I don't think they fully appreciate, like I was there 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. I was taking the phone calls, middle of the night and all that thing, getting up when the alarm goes off. Right. They didn't see that. Right. So I don't know how they appreciate it.
That's an interesting point. Yeah.
But I mean, but they also, my wife, who's almost more famous than I am because she opened Las Paletas, the popsicle shop on 12.
I always thought that was really cool.
So they saw her working there.
Right. They saw that with her. And they actually, sat behind the counter and passed out popsicles sometimes. So they were part of that more. Right. So it's interesting to see when they grow up.
Yeah. How did you guys manage both of y'all having stores and being entrepreneurs like that? Like you and your wife at the same time.
The combination of the two was always great.
Yeah. The hot and cold relationship.
The milk and cookies.
It's not what you think. It's not the traditional story of we both had our own businesses and busy 24/7. Mine was mature. She came here really to help her sister open this business, and she was planning on going back to California.
Oh, so she did it with her sister.
Yeah. Okay. But her sister, when they opened, the sister's kids were 1 and 2 or 2 and 3 years old, and my wife did all the work, get it set, and then several years later, my wife and I made flip. We had little kids, so the sister did all the work, and then my wife is like, she's fine about just turning the page. I'm more sentimental, want to hold on to everything. She turned the page.
Oh, yeah.
So she didn't really care about working
what
the
year,
store.
What year?
Well, they opened in 2000 or 2001, and we met in 2000. you're putting me in a spot.
Yeah.
2003 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so in Las Palacios, is it so? And you moved it, or like it's not because
They moved it a few times.
Or yeah.
But again, it was about real estate.
Mm-hmm.
First they were renting, then they bought this small space, and then that big house that they ended up buying. The woman, Granny's Flowers, wanted a local person there, and they sold it at a good price to my wife.
when did they put it next to the park?
Well, it was always sort of on 12th South.
Okay,
within 3 different buildings.
Because right across from the park was brilliant.
Yeah,
That's
where they started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, they were brilliant. They took a traditional Mexican product and did not go to the Hispanic part of town. They went to 12 South.
Yeah. I just popped
What did you
little,
just do?
Little
What did you just do
ambiance
there?
on the mic.
popsicles next to a park. It's pretty. It was really good.
Coffee across from college and popsicles
Yeah,
across the park. Yeah,
Location.
games in the middle of a family.
I mean,
neighborhood.
and just the fact that we and it's Sevier Park too. I mean, because you've been here long enough that it's like I had a buddy in high school who his dad lives right there. And like you, that wasn't a thing. You didn't go hang out in Sevier Park. That was not, there was no like. It was, I guess sketchy would be a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
People just didn't. And now it's like you have like the Airbnbs and the bachelorettes going up and down that whole block like a strip mall all day long.
That 12th South real estate is some of the most expensive rental real estate in the city.
Oh yeah, you have famous people who are having stores over there.
Oh,
Was it
crazy.
like Reese Witherspoon and Gwyneth Paltrow has a whole compound or something over there. I don't know if she owns the whole building.
Yeah,
but
I don't know who owns what anymore.
yeah, it's almost too much to keep track of, and it's like my dad always told me, it's like, well, you can't be worrying about what other people are doing. You have to keep focusing on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so like what is new for either of you? Like what is really going on in both y'all's world that's new, like in Bongo or like with the board game stuff?
Stuff.
I mean, so I will say, and this kind of dovetails back into Old Nashville and stuff. So in 2023, we opened the retail arm of Gamepoint right here in the village.
Yeah.
And for me, like, even though I've only been here 22 years or whatever, for me, that was kind of
only 22 years. Yeah.
That was kind of a throwback to kind of old village, right? Like when we moved here, the village was pretty eclectic. And now it's pretty homogenous.
Peabody
right?
Cobbler was there. There was that guitar shop that was right there too.
Cotton music.
Yeah.
It was a lot of different things, right? And now
Was that the beginning when they tore that building down and was that kind of the beginning of Hillsborough Village changing? Or
Well, I think that was done after the
Jackson's?
Pancake Pantry strip.
Oh yeah, because
was-
Pancake Pantry was in a much smaller space.
Much smaller space.
and that
That's-
building's all just redone.
Yeah, and they built the second level and this and that, and then that strip went, and everybody keeps waiting for every other piece to fall.
Yeah, where's the wood?
Isn't that right?
Oh boy.
So when we decided to do that, for me, I thought that was kind of fun, just to like put something eclectic back in the neighborhood, because there's a lot of the same thing here right now, right? Like other than you all and a couple of things.
But I think it's going through another renaissance now. I mean, I don't know if you saw what's
go
opening
ahead.
up next to me. There's like the little place that's based. It's like a honey shop. I'm not even sure what's going to be. And there's a frozen banana place opening up.
Yeah,
frozen bananas.
Yeah, we got cookies. So I think it's going through a renaissance now. And
it was the game
exciting.
store. It was
yeah,
the
we
first
did
piece.
We did it.
We were the first
did it.
domino.
Yeah, because what's it? UA was it?
UAL.
Yeah, they're gone. They've
That's where
left.
the honey thing is going.
Okay, and it's
And it looks like-
you buy honey.
I don't. I mean, the people seem
You
really
cover
nice.
yourself in it.
Yeah.
There's like a live bee, like the beekeeper simulation in the back. You put
I
this
didn't
on.
know. I just noticed that the Rebecca James here has paper in the. Is that closed?
No, that's
Molly
not.
Green.
Yeah, so
Molly
that's
Green,
Molly
that's right.
Green. So
Molly
Molly
Green, yeah.
Green, and I just found this out. They have a store on 12 South. So, I'm not gonna. And I've talked to the Rebecca James people. I guess I'm not gonna put their words on video or anything. But I personally think if because I watched what my dad did, and I also know how his brain works, and and seeing how your instincts work, it's like they made when. I think he said the first place here that made sense to him was Faison's. So and that's why he knew he could buy here. That's or like to get. And I mean, he got $50,000 from an angel investor because him and my mom had 3 kids, and like he had just lost his job, and so this lady goes, "Here's $50,000, pay me back when you can," and he knew this would. He had
Is she
a feeling.
a poet?
Yeah, her husband owned a plumbing
Just rhymed.
company.
That's the only reason that I asked.
Her husband owned a plumbing company, and so they went to a bank to get a loan, couldn't get it, and then the lady at the desk called this lady she knew and was like, hey, there's this family that needs some help. And what it was that Faison's was there, and there was something about he just knew because of that spot. And I guess, as he tells me, Andrew, it's like I bought a bar in between two colleges. You'd have to be stupid to fuck it up. You know what I mean? Like, so, and luckily I didn't have any prior experience in running a bar before I started doing it. Other than I get to call my dad and say, hey, what do you do about this? Right. But the thing is it burgeoned into this certain type of place. And Fido was a cafe, open late. College students would go to the bar. They'd go study, drink coffee there, eat, then go to the bar if they were of age. You know, I mean, it's the way the neighborhood worked, and they made a play for this daytime thing, which might have made sense to. I mean, which, you know, you had Fido, you had Pancake Pantry, but I don't think the shopping works in the same way because of the layout of the area. You know, I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
It's I don't know. I think I think this village needs. When we opened Fido, I think it helped be part of a renaissance then.
Yeah.
And that was how many years ago? You know,
so
30 years ago. So it needs that again, and I'm excited to see it, even though Fido's going to go away.
Do you want to talk about that at all?
If you want.
I mean,
but I was going to say the same stories. Like you know, your dad got $50,000 to open this. I somehow raised $80,000 because banks wouldn't talk to me.
Either. How'd you raise it? What'd you do?
It was just talking to people.
Wow.
I got people that I hung out watching Chicago sports at a sports bar to invest. I got people that I was volunteering with to invest. One guy led me to other people. So it was just kind of this. I didn't want to take family money. I just had to do it on my own, even though I didn't do it on my own.
I'm a child of nepotism, I have to admit to it.
Yeah. So, you know, it would have been a lot better financially if I just said, yeah, Dad, I'll take your money. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. Fido's closing in 2 years. The lease is running out. I know the lease will be a lot more money. I know how much money that building needs to be updated. And I've been doing it for 30-something years. And so all those things came together and just said.
So whose idea was the clock on the wall?
Oh, that's me.
Of course it was.
Refrigerator wall. Doors are clock on the wall.
Yeah, it reminded me of what the show 24.
Yeah.
Jack Bauer's just going to show up at any moment.
It was, people say, why are you announcing 3 years ahead of time that you're closing and making it so public? I'm like,
why not?
Well, part of it's why not, and part of it is like, I needed that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I needed something.
Some runway.
I just needed like it to be real.
Well,
if I would have hung on for it, like I would have found another excuse to extend the lease or to move it or do this. But putting that letter and that clock up there just said, oh, this weight came off my shoulders. I've been thinking about it for years.
Okay, so when did you start because did you feel like you were being pushed out, or did you feel like it was your decision to get out of there? Was at the end of the day?
It's a combination of both. Like I said, the lease realities and the building realities. You could say force me, but my reality has kind of said this is my decision.
How long has that question been running in your head?
Well, I knew the lease was actually ran out last year, and we negotiated a 3-year extension. So a couple years before that lease was about to end, I kind of was thinking, okay, is this
why the extension? Why did you negotiate the extension?
I don't know what on their end why they wanted 3 years.
Oh, they wanted it.
I mean, they came to me and offered it. I mean, I don't know if they wanted it, but it made sense for them for whatever reason. And I'm like, okay, 3 years. That's a nice ending point. Yeah. It just seemed to make
I feel like
sense.
the neighborhood needed it too. Like I feel because it's Fido and I mean I know I know what it means to be here, but like for all the people that have been through the neighborhood in the years and seeing Fido and growing up with it, I mean it's an iconic store in Nashville, and I think if you didn't, it would have been like it's like when you break up with someone and there's that feeling of like, hey, well, we can't do this, like just like some people can't just do the whole cutoff,
right? And
so Fido is definitely one of those special places like that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's
I think it's an amazing thing.
Restaurants don't survive 1 year. For us to survive 30 plus is in 2 different locations, almost 3, is kind of amazing.
So how hard was that to learn how to run a cafe like to that size, coming from a coffee shop?
I don't know. I just
It
opened
just,
the doors.
just did it. I love that's how they honestly answer everything.
I opened
Yeah.
the doors, hired good people,
Yeah.
made it up as we went along. It was the right place, the right time, and half of it was lucky, half of it was, being smart, taking advantage of your opportunities.
So now you're talking about the Renaissance in the neighborhood. Like, where do you think? What do you see? Like, I mean, what do you see going on?
I mean, I would like to see this be a version of 12 South that's way less expensive and way less touristy and more neighborhoody.
Oh yeah, like something
That's-
more because it's not geared towards people spending money on their vacation.
Yeah, people going in there and spending, we look in the windows in 12 South as we walk by and they're like, really? $1,200 for a robe? I mean,
Yeah.
that's not where my budget goes, but, more power to you. So, I hope that, some of these quirky places and some of these, a frozen banana place, a honey place, that's kind of cool. And hopefully it's not, $30 for a frozen banana. It's,
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
it's that it sticks around. I mean, there's some national chains here, but it's mostly just mom and pop shops still.
Yeah. I mean, I guess let's go. A question I've guys. Either youth can think of a specific couple things that are not around anymore that really, that from old Nashville to what new Nashville is that you guys can think of that you miss.
Well, it's the no traffic. It's the being able to park in front of any building.
You know,
concert tickets
yeah.
the day of the
how,
concert.
Okay, so how does the parking situation work?
boy.
Because I mean, I don't.
You're opening up a can of worms.
I mean, come on, Bob, open that trap. So
No, it's funny when Randy Rayburn used to own Sunset Grill over here. He said the only time to get small business owners together over here in the village, he goes, if we talk about parking, everybody will come.
Yeah.
So how does that just because I know at Final you said you're leasing. So is that their decision to have the parking, or is that your decision to do parking like that? Or?
Yeah, I forget how many years ago it went that way. We knew we needed somehow to manage that lot.
Okay,
because
yeah.
Students were parking there all day, construction workers were parking there all day, and we had no parking. So I didn't really care about charging people for parking. I just needed somebody to monitor the lot and be there all the time. But it was part of the trend in Nashville. And I'm glad we don't get a dime from the parking. Landlord makes very little money from the parking.
So parking is all about managing the space for your customers.
It's really for turnover.
Yeah.
And that's just about every lot.
Especially in a college area, they probably just start leaving their cars in the lots all night.
That's what was happening.
It's your fault, by the way.
Hey! I have no parking. It's almost ironic.
I know.
It's like
And
the
that-
local
no,
park
It's
isn't
supposed
parking.
to be. Why would there be parking at a bar?
Yeah,
that's a good. Well, because they can park overnight.
Yeah.
he didn't drive here, officer.
Well, listen, we really got to wrap this up here
Yeah.
for you guys.
Yeah, we
But
don't want you
I
to
just
miss it.
wanted to say, thank you so much for both of you for coming on. And Bob, I think you've created such a lasting impression on the entire city here. And
Thank you.
I think that everybody that comes so quickly to their conclusions, and I know that it's case by case basis as the city keeps changing and these places keep moving or leaving or closing or whatever. But I would encourage everyone to take a grain of salt with every story that you hear. There's people that have been behind these businesses for 30 years that have been working their ass off, and their life has been changing. And as much as we all don't want to see it go, things happen. Impermanence is the only permanent thing. And like I said, we just appreciate you. And I want to say Bongo Basic forever, Pete's Breakfast forever, Hillsborough Village forever. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Give it up for Jesse High Fashion Nordstrom guys for that. But guys, before I cut us off, Keuler.
Bueller.
What's the one thing you miss, or what's something you miss in the exchange?
I mean, being able to get around, like the traffic is killer. Like that's so bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
The affordability. I mean, it's just the whole national thing is affordability and
Yeah, but I mean, it's just so hard to get anywhere anymore.
it's hard to get anywhere.
Especially now that I have to go from here to east a lot.
Yeah, and you have to use your GPS to get to places by the back of your hand
Yeah,
because
yeah.
every day it's a different.
All right.
It's that small town feel, right? Take it all the way back to where you started. Like
Yeah.
being able to go anywhere and like you knew you were going to see somebody you knew. Like I miss that.
Well, guys, is there any way that you can? Is there a forum that people can reach out to you, or is there any kind of advertisement you want to do for what you got going on that you want to leave on the show at the very end?
Bob at bongojava.com. We talked about email.
Yep.
I think that was before we started recording. But
The email. We were talking about how email is like the internet garbage can.
yeah, I'm not on social media. I don't X tweet or
He does
Instagram.
get back
I
to you
don't-
on his email. Bob is very good with email.
No, I'm not.
No comment.
even my business partner will test. I'm not so good.
Expect a
with email.
2-year window to get back on there.
Everybody say hey to Toby. Hey, Toby.
Hey, Toby.
Hey. All right.
I'm at Rick at GamepointCafe.com. We're excited to keep trying to keep little pieces of Nashville alive.
Little
There you go.
pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
So good. All right, people. Thank you for tuning in to Villager People. I'm Andrew Pro. This is Jesse High Fashion Nordstrom. We've got Mr. Bob Bernstein of Bongo Java talking about Fido in Hillsborough Village in Nashville, and his good buddy Rick Keuler we were just so great to have these guys. I mean, it's amazing.
Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Cue that exit music.
So if you're up in Nashville and you see the Village Bar, stop and see if Charlie's there. Tell him who you are, and listen to his wisdom, and listen to his stories, and listen to his hopes and dreams, his downfalls and his glories.